מזל טוב. To Adir Mesayimim, Kfir and Golan for reaching this great milestone of Siyum Masekhet.
Thank you.
You know, it's very interesting that every week we read another parasha. We spoke about Avraham Avinu. We started with Noach, Bereshit, Noach, Avraham Avinu. And then this week's parasha, we start with Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu is the first time we mention him. In this week's parasha, that Yaakov is born. Yitzchak has two children. He has Esav and Yaakov. And it says, Vayehav Yitzchak et Esav ki tzayid befiv. Yitzchak loved his son Esav ki tzayid befiv. V'Rivka ohevet et Yaakov. There was a common denominator between Machaneh Mishutaf between Esav and Yaakov in this week's parasha. It says about Esav ki tzayid befiv. He would speak. But he would speak in a way which was not so truthful. He would speak things that looked like truth, but they would be misulaf. They would be forged truth. It's like a dollar bill that looks real, but it's really fake. He would make himself look like a Talmid Chacham. He makes himself look like he's a tzaddik. He would trap Yitzchak with his mouth. Kitzayid befiv. He trapped his father. His father looks like at him when he's a young boy. He thinks, "Whoa, this boy is going to be the next great Talmid Chacham. He's going to follow in my footsteps." So he loved him. Tzayid befiv. However, Yaakov is Ishtam, Yoshev Ohalim. He also speaks. Hakol kol Yaakov. Vayadayim yedei Esav. Yaakov also uses his mouth, but he uses the kol shel Torah, which is Yoshev Ohalim. He would sit in the tent. Which tent? It says twice tent. Ohel shel Shem, Ohel shel Eved. He would sit in the yeshiva. And he spoke Torah all day long. So they both speak. But Esav speaks things that are not 100% glat, they say. It's not 100% emet. And Yaakov is ish emet. Yaakov ishtam, Yaakov is emet. Titen emet le Yaakov. He would speak the truth. Bet Yaakov Esh. Kash, nachon? Esh consumes, the fire consumes the straw. Now fire is good or bad? Depends. Depends what you use it for. If you use it to heat yourself up, put it in the furnace, it's good in the wintertime. If you use it to cook under the pot, it's good. If you use it as a torch to light, it's good. But the second you put a house on fire and it destroys the house, it's very destructive. So fire is constructive, fire is good, and fire at the same time is destructive. It destroys. Esav used fire. We all know that we lie in the galut of Edom, the last exile. We're suffering over here. We're not in our land. We're not in the holy land of Eretz Israel. And even the people who are not living with the real life of Menucha. We're living under distress. We're living under, we don't know what's going to be from all the powers around us. We're not the powerful nation. We're the low nation. We don't have so much power. Esav destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. Esav's children, his grandchildren. Edom, he was the one that destroyed the holy temple that we long and we suffer until today that we don't have. And we cry over the temple, we cry over the Beit HaMikdash that it was destroyed. Sticks and stones. Etzim va'avanim shenisrefu אנחנו בוכים עליהם. על מה אנחנו בוכים? Why are we crying over sticks and stones? The Beit HaMikdash, okay, we'll build a new one. Big deal, it's a house. House goes on fire. You cry for it for 2,000 years. Big deal, we're still crying. Every Tisha B'Av, we cry on the Beit HaMikdash that was destroyed. Okay, when Mashiach comes, we'll have the new Beit HaMikdash. Okay, big deal. We have Bet Knesset, we have different places that are holy today. What's special about the Bet HaMikdash? Bet HaMikdash had the Mizbeach. Bet HaMikdash had Esh Tamid, Tukad HaMizbeach, Lo Tichbeh. Had a constant fire. And the Bet HaMikdash lied the Aron HaKodesh, Aron HaBrit, Sefer Torah, Kodesh HaKodashim, Shechina. There was a spiritual light. It was a real simcha. On Chag HaSukkot, everybody would get together, all the Jewish people would get together, they all came to do the regel, they came to visit the Bet HaMikdash during the holiday, and they would dance during a ceremony called Simchat Bet HaShoeva. As the Gemara Masekhet Sukkah says, anybody who did not see Simchat Bet HaShoeva, lo ra'a simcha miyamav, didn't see real, true inner happiness. The Bet HaMikdash was a source of all knowledge, source of all simcha. As Yirmiyahu Hanavi met one of the famous philosophers, Aristotle, and he asks Yirmiyahu Hanavi, why are you crying? And Yirmiyahu Hanavi was known as the prophet of the destruction. He was crying over the Bet HaMikdash. He gave prophecy in Echa, Sefer Yirmiyahu, in Tanakh. It speaks about the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash and all the cries that Yirmiyahu lamented. And he asks him, why are you crying? Big deal. Sticks and stones. Why are you crying? So Yirmiyahu asks him, you have any questions that you didn't answer in your philosophy? He was one of the biggest philosophers ever. So he said, of course. Philosophers don't know everything. We're always trying to dig deeper and to try to unfold things that we still don't understand. And Yirmiyahu said, ask me. So he asked Yirmiyahu. He asked him one question, another question, and Yirmiyahu answers one by one. And he was amazed by the wisdom of Yirmiyahu. So he says, Yirmiyahu, where did you become so smart from? Where did you get all this knowledge from? He says, these sticks and stones that were destroyed. And the Bet HaMikdash was a source of chokhmah, source of Torah, source of happiness. The esh that burnt on the Mizbeach resembles the esh of Torah. The esh of Dvekut Ba'Hashem, Korbanot. What's Korbanot? L'hakriv, to get connected, to get closer. Get close to Hashem, especially through tefillah. So the Mizbeach really resembled more than Torah tefillah. Ki beti bet tefillah. The menorah was also fire. So we lit the fire in the Mizbeach, and we lit the fire every day. Baboker, the Bet HaMikdash, the Kohen Gadol would fix the candles, would light the candles of the menorah. How many sticks does the menorah have? Shisha kanim yotzeim mitzideh. The menorah was made out of 6 branches coming out of the middle stem. At a middle stem and 6 branches, 3 on each side. 6. What does 6 branches resemble? Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. It resembles Torah Sheba'al Peh. The Aron HaBrit, the Aron in the Bet HaKodesh Kodashim, with the kaporet and the keruvim, resemble Torah Shebechtav. In the Kodesh Kodashim was hidden. But the menorah that was seen to everybody resembles Torah Sheba'al Peh. Mesamel, Torah Sheba'al Peh. 6. The 6 sections of the Mishnah. Shisha Sidrei Mishnah. And this is the fire that lights up the Jewish nation. It's not a fire that destructs. It's not Edom. Esav takes the fire and he burns the Bet HaMikdash. He uses fire. He knows how to use fire very well. But he burns the Bet HaMikdash. The Jewish people, we use the fire, but we use it for the constructive part of the fire. We use it to heat up our souls, to enlighten our eyes, to show us the way. Gives us direction. It leads us. It lightens the way in the dark path, in the galut especially. And that's why we come to Chanukah. Chanukah is this month. Now, this month we read about Yaakov, and it's also we just blessed the month. Birkat HaChodesh, Al-Chirazat Rosh Chodesh, Kislev. Kislev is this coming Thursday, Friday. Rosh Chodesh Kislev, which is already reminded about Chanukah. When do we light the menorah? The day or the night? In the night. Because the night is when we need light. In the day where it's already lit, we don't need light. When do we need light? At night. The night is the galut. The night is the exile that we live in. We're all in darkness. We don't really have true happiness. But the Torah can give us a certain amount of sipuk, certain amount of satisfaction that we can't get outside. A certain amount. That anybody who has been there, we're going to hear soon a few words, Be'ezrat Hashem, from the Siyum. They're going to tell us how they feel. And the Chachamim tell us, Masekhet Sanhedrin, Bikvetat Mshicha, the time, the end of the exile, the end of the galut, there's going to be chavalim, there's going to be birth pains. You know, a lady gives birth, she's for 9 months, she's a little uncomfortable. It's a little uncomfortable, her stomach gets bigger and bigger, she can't sleep in any way she wants, but she's more or less okay. She does most of the things anybody could do, except going on roller coasters and things like that. But otherwise, she's okay. But when it comes to the end of the 9th month, when she's just about to give birth, what she has all of a sudden, she gets pain. Tsirim, contractions. She gets contractions, it starts low, slowly, 20 minutes apart, and then they come 10 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, and they keep on getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until she can't anymore. And so she says, I have to get this baby out already, I can't anymore. And she's pushing, the doctor says, just push, it's almost out, just a couple of more minutes and you're going to have a beautiful baby. And she's pushing and she's screaming and she's turning red and she can't anymore, and all of a sudden, the baby comes out. And she feels okay. Everything goes away. This resembles the end of days. End of days is when there's pain, and it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. 19 souls went up to Shamayim. 11 in the US and 8 in Eretz Israel to fire. A bullet is also fire. It's Esh. What's the lesson? The lesson is we have to use the fire, but we have to use it in the right way. We take the Esh HaTorah. The Torah is fire. Like the Pasuk says, Halo kod vari ka'esh nu'um Hashem. Hashem says, my word is fire. So we use the fire in the positive way. Kol bayit she'en devei Torah nishma'im bo balayla. What does the Gemara say? Esh ochata. Esh can be used constructive or destructive. If you use it constructively, the Esh HaTorah, you have bracha. If not, chas v'shalom. Especially in the night. Now we come in the morning, it's still night. That's it. Morning is night still. And that leads the night. The fire is the Esh, is the guide. It's the fire, the constructive fire. So we come to Siyum Masekhet. Siyum Masekhet is a pillar of fire. It's a pillar of fire. It's an unbelievable pillar of fire. A spiritual fire. It's not a physical fire. It's a fire that heats the soul. It gives certain satisfaction to the neshama. How many people have the zechut to finish a Masekhet in their life? You know what a Masekhet is? I don't know what a Masekhet is. We say in the end of the Masekhet now, they're going to say, the Hadran Alach. Say Hadran Alach, Masekhet, Megilla. V'da'atan Alach. We say we finished you, we're going to come back to you. V'hadrach Alan. And you come back to us. Who are you speaking to? We're speaking, we say, Hadran Alach will come back to you. We're speaking to the book. And we're saying, we're going to come back to you, Mr. Book, Masekhet Megillah. And your mind is on us, Masekhet Megillah. And then we say, La Nashem Minach Masekhet Megillah, Vedat Nashem Minach, La Ba'alma Haden, Ve'la Ba'alma De'ateh. Don't forget us, not in this world, and not in the next world. Remember us. We're speaking to the book and we're saying, remember us. Because it's an actual entity. It's a neshama on its own. It's a Masekhet. Each Masekhet, there's a famous story about Masekhet Chagigah. I'm not going to go into it. It's a famous story of a person who learned Masekhet Chagigah, and that Masekhet watched over the person. It's a certain shmirah that now a person has, as a protection. That this Masekhet, you think you learned it and you finished it, and you go to the next one? No. You're not just passing by and you're leaving the Masekhet back. The Masekhet stays with you forever. And it watches over you forever. And La Nashem Mina is going to stay with you ba'olam hazeh u'ba'olam haba. It stays with you in this world and it stays with you in the next world. One Masekhet, and then a second Masekhet, a third Masekhet. These are Masekhet, is an entity called a Masekhet. The person finishes Masekhet, it's an unbelievable simcha. Now he has a special guard with him. He has a special militz yosher, a special in his pocket now. Now he has a fire with him. Wherever he goes, he has the protection of the Masekhet. It's like a masach. It's a guard between any marin bishin. So we give our beracha, unbelievable. Give it beracha to our dear Misayimim, Golan and Kfir, who worked hard, because it's a commitment to wake up in the morning, every morning, consistently. Day after day after day after day after day after day after day, and you reap the accomplishments. Every day on its own might be hard. Not easy. Getting out of bed a little extra early, and then coming a little extra early, and then. But in the end of the day, you're zocheh to a Masekhet. You're zocheh to have a Masekhet under your belt. Is a zchut, is a simcha. So we give the beracha to Kfir and to Golan to continue l'chu mechayil el chayil, to go from one strength to another strength and to another strength. And B'ezrat Hashem, I give you all the beracha that all of us should B'ezrat Hashem be able to be finished in Masekhet. All of the zechut B'ezrat Hashem to make more siyumim, lelmod ulamed, shmo v'la'asot u'kayem et kol medivret Talmud Toratcha be'ahava. Amen. Ken yeh ratzon.
When we have something new, we say Shechianu v'kiyamanu. Now I want to ask you a question. First, Hashem creates something, gives it the kiyum, and then He gives it the chiyut. Kol maaseh bereshit. First, Hashem created the object, then it says, okay, your job is, for example, the sun, Shemesh. First Hashem created the Shemesh, gives it the kiyum. Acharei zeh, it tells the Shemesh, okay, your job is to make the day, to create the day. That's your job. That's your chiyut. That's your life. So first comes kiyum or first comes chiyut? Which one?
Kiyum.
Huh? Kiyum. First kiyum and then chiyut. So why do we say shechianu v'kiyamanu? Why do we say first chiyut comes and then kiyum? And also whenever we refer to Hashem, we say melech. Hashem is what? Melech kayam or melech chai v'kayam? When we refer to Hashem, we always say melech chai v'kayam. So the answer Chachamim give is that the purpose of the creation is more important than the creation itself. Right? To have a kiyum is not so exciting. You know what? Because anything that you see that has a kiyum in this world is using up energy, using up resources, is constantly taking. Is constantly taking from the world. Anything that has a kiyum, even a thought, a machshava, b'moach, it's taking space. How do we know this? Because can a person think two thoughts at the same time? No. Even the thought in my mind is taking space. Is taking something. But life of a person is not. Kiyum is always embarrassing for a person to have. You know, a person has to eat, a person has to drink. He's using up resources of the world. But his life is not taking, he's always giving. Life is always giving. So Hashem said life is more important than the kiyum. Always. Life of a person, a life of something, purpose of something is more important than the kiyum. Question is, you know, we always know, even in the language of the America, whenever somebody is not doing something important with his life, he doesn't have a purpose in his life. excuse my language, but they use something, they tell him what do they tell him?
Get a life.
Get a life. Get a life. And people say, you know what, okay fine, I'll get a life. But what's the purpose of this life? So some people say, okay, purpose of my life is to become a doctor. Purpose of my life is to become an engineer. Purpose of my life is to become something that the world needs. But how can a person decide what his purpose for the life is after he's born? You want to, for example, let's think about making a car. A person wants to make a car, right? So first he thinks, why do I need a car for? What's going the purpose of this creation of car? It wants to take me from one place to the next. Takes me faster. Whatever, a list of things that I want to make before I make the car. It's not that when I make the car, I then decide, what am I going to do with this? What's going to be purpose of what I just made? So which one comes first? The purpose of this object comes first, or the object itself? The purpose. When Hashem created this world, the purpose came before the creation. The purpose of this world, He was already made. Is already made. Hashem made the purpose of the world. He didn't wait for us to be created, to be grown-ups. We have to be grown-ups to decide what's the purpose. To become 20, 30, 40, then decide, what's the purpose of my life? It's already decided. It's already decided what's the purpose of life. The purpose of life is something that the Creator Himself, Hashem Himself, was so motivated to make this. Like, you're making this machine, right? The car, whatever it is. I'm so motivated by the purpose of this object that I'm making, so I made it. What was the purpose of Hashem for making this world? Hashem is, Chachamim say, that Tavunot says, Hashem is good. He's the ultimate good. He's good. He's a Tov Umetiv. He was good, but He wanted to be a giver Himself, to be Metiv. So in order to be Metiv and have a world which is also a Tov, so He created the world, right? So that's the purpose. The purpose is that the world itself should be as motivated as Hashem is. So whenever we do Melechet Shamayim, we do what He wants. We're working for Him. Whenever we do Melechet Shamayim, we do what He wants. He said it, beginning of the Torah. Bereshit bara Elokim. Mefarshim say Bereshit bishvil Reshit. What's the Reshit? What's the first thing that Hashem cares about? Bishvil Torah. He said it. Because education, once a person has education, he's going to be a different person. Different mahut. Bishvil Torah. Bishvil Torah, bishvil Reshit. Now, this Torah that we say, we also, this Gemara that we learn, we talked about Torah actually. We talked about what's the highest and most important thing that you can never switch it with something else. The Gemara talks about, let's say a person has a mitpachat shel sefer Torah and he wants to sell it to get something else. The Gemara says always you have to go something higher. The Gemara keeps on saying, what if a person has sefarim, he wants to sell the sefarim, what else could he get? Gemara says always the rule is, whatever money you have to go a level higher. You have to buy something even higher. Gemara says, what if we have a Sefer Torah and we need to sell this Sefer Torah? Gemara says, no, Shalom, Asur. Asur limkor Sefer Torah. From Sefer Torah you cannot even go higher. That's the highest. Gemara said, what if the Sefer Torah that we have, it's worn out and we need to get a new Sefer Torah? The Gemara has questions on that. The Gemara said, you know what? Finally, finalizing this, a person who sells a Sefer Torah, he uses the money for other things, he will never see Siman Baracha from this. It's asur to sell a Sefer Torah, because that's the highest. You can't go higher than that. The Gemara says two things. You could sell the Sefer Torah for two reasons. One is getting married, and the other one is, anybody could guess? What? Somebody's sick? One is getting married. The Gemara says, Mitzvah Pru Urvu is one of the highest mitzvot. You're allowed to sell Sefer Torah in order to get married, because having a Jewish family is the highest level of goal. The Gemara says, you're allowed to sell Sefer Torah to learn Torah. So, out of all this Mishnah that we learn, you want to go higher and higher and higher. I want to go higher. I want to sell. I get all the way to Sefer Torah, and I cannot even sell it. There is something more important than Sefer Torah itself. What is that? The learning of itself. The question is, when a person is donating a Sefer Torah, he donated a Sefer Torah, the biggest thing. Jewish people gave up their lives for this Sefer Torah. He's donating it to the shul. The shul is learning from it. But you know what? There are some people that they don't donate the Sefer Torah. They donate themselves. Kefir and Golan donated themselves 1 year to this Torah. 1 year. Almost every day they missed. They didn't say, I'm committing myself. They didn't say, they say, you know what? I want to do what Hashem says. I saw it in their eyes. They didn't say, okay, I'm committing every day, I'm going to come on time. Yeah, there were days I came late. There were days Golan came late. There were days Kefir came late. But you know what? When Kefir wanted to go to Israel in the summer, he went and he bought the chelik of Megilla, art scroll from the Mekora Sefarim. He said, you know what, I don't want to miss whatever, a few days, a week, two, I don't want to miss it. I'm going to catch up until when I come back I could continue with you. So this is what I saw in them. They didn't say, you know what, I'm committing every day. Once a person commits to a high goal, he may never achieve it. But the goal comes, I want to do what Hashem says. I don't care what's going to happen. Because He made me and He put the purpose before I was created. So what? One day I missed. So what? One day I came late. So what? But this is my goal. And I sacrificed for it. So, I want to give a bracha to Kfir and Golan, who donated themselves to this Torah, which is even more important than the Torah itself. That you should know that you did yourself the biggest tova in the world. You did yourself the biggest bracha in the world. Because with the Torah comes what? With the Torah comes your children. And I lie. I want to lie. Because you want to tell him, because the Torah says not to lie. Which Torah? You ever learned Torah yourself? You could tell him, yes, I wake up every day to go learn Torah. I have what to answer him. My son does something. I said, we're not. Why? I want to do it. Because it says in the Torah. Which Torah? Do you learn the Torah? Yes, of course I learn the Torah. Every day I go. Every day I give up my life for this. You have what to look up to. You're building a Jewish family. You're building, and your children are going to look up to you. Your children are going to say, you know what? My father gives up his desire for Torah. I'm also going to give it. They have what to learn from you. So to everything else. So too, whenever a she'ela comes in the house, he says, I have to ask the rabbi. Why I have to know what the Torah wants from me. So the wife is going to ask, since when you all of a sudden became a rabbi by yourself, huh? So of course I became a rabbi. Every day I go to learn. Every day I put my time for this. I give up on my energy for this. This is my life. So a person is not only giving this 45 minutes. You're building your life around this 45 minutes. You're building your children around this 45 minutes. And Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be able to finish more and more Masechtot together. And this should be a chizuk for the rest of the community, that this place should be full of Lomdei Torah, Lilmod Ulamed.